I hate Bobby Portis, man. Y'all can read the title. Let's get into it.
Yeah, there you go. I need to cut this guy.
Don't worry, Bam. I'll give you my thumb. Nah, if you're lucky, maybe you'll be able to shoot like me.
Really?
Dog, why are you making that face? You know I can shoot.
The Miami Heat need Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo. They didn't have those guys this week, so they finished 1-3. But let's get into the first game. So first, we're going to talk about the loss versus Denver. I did say in the previous recap video that the Heat were going to win. In fact, I gave it the witness guarantee. But that's before I knew that Jimmy and Tyler would be out. Once I found out those guys would be out, that game kind of lost a lot of steam for me. It really went how I expected and probably how a lot of y'all expected too. The Heat kept over switching as always. Because of that, Jokic was eating. It's nice to see Max Strus ball out. He almost single-handedly carried us back in the second quarter. But Bones Highland was basically shooting the lights out. And he seems like a super cool dude, so I'm happy for him that he's playing well. Bam had a strong second half, but I really don't care. Duncan shot 1 of 9. I thought it couldn't get any worse, and then the next game he was 0-7, but we'll talk about that after. From this one though, I didn't like Kyle Lowry and Max Strus's post-game comments. Basically, they were addressing Duncan Robinson's slump, and to me, the worst thing you can do when a teammate is having a slump is to address it. And I'm sure the slump is already in Duncan's head, so having his teammates mention it to the public is probably making him think about it even more. But I have an entire video on that. I think the video will be linked somewhere up here. I'm still new at this YouTube thing, so if I figure it out, make sure y'all click my other video about Duncan's struggles. But yeah, that game went pretty much how I expected. They lost by a lot. They also lost by a lot the next game versus the Cavs. That I didn't expect so much just because I figured the Heat would at least show a little fight. Plus, they were playing the Cavs, which are obviously not as good as Denver. I think record-wise, they're actually pretty similar, and I know a lot of guys for the Cavs have been balling out like Jared Allen and Evan Mobley and Ricky Rubio, but I still didn't expect the Heat to get blown out like that. I want to know, am I the only one who forgot that Kevin Love still plays for the Cavs? I was actually watching the game with my girl, and she ain't know nobody on the Cavs, and then when Kevin Love came in, she's like, oh man, I know that guy. He still plays? I was like, right? So even she was wondering what that man was still doing on that team. And of course, he had a ball out. I think he was like 6 or 7 from 3. So obviously that was annoying. Like I said earlier, Duncan did not make a single 3-pointer this game. I think he finished 0-7. So that broke his streak of consecutive games making at least 1 3. But his streak ended at 69. So nice. Duncan, I know you knew what you were doing, boy. I'm actually not mad at you for that. And if y'all mad at Duncan Robinson, then you ain't got no sense of humor. He knew what he was doing. But really, the most important things from that day had nothing to do with like on-court play. First, earlier in the day, we found out the results of the tampering investigation. Now, I was in my car and I got a notification that the Heat posted on Twitter, so I go to check it out and I saw the statement that they had. I'll put that up right here. And I was shook. I'm like, what just happened? Did somebody die? Did they lose all their picks? Like, what is this about? What is this referencing? I was freaking out. But then, you know, I refreshed my whole Twitter feed and I saw that they had lost a 2nd round pick. So I was like, oh, I'm chilling. That's fine. That's less 2nd round picks we can use to trade for another KZ. So I didn't care. I was chilling. But I still don't agree with the decision. One, because the Heat already had discussions about Lowry last year during the trade deadline. So they pretty much had a lot of the details already worked out, which makes sense why they were able to do the sign and trade so quick after the deadline this year. But even then, if you want to say that they were tampering, which the NBA actually didn't say they were tampering. They said they were talking to one of Lowry's representatives, which I guess is not technically tampering, which then why did you fine us? But whatever. But the thing that didn't make sense to me is how could the Heat get penalized, but not the Raptors? Couldn't you easily argue that the Raptors tampered to get Goran Dragic? I know Goran Dragic wasn't technically a free agent when he went there because he opted into his contract here and then he was traded. But you could have argued that the Raptors tampered, telling him to sign in because they wanted him and Precious. So it doesn't really make sense how only one team can get penalized with tampering. Either way though, they only lost a 2nd round pick, so I don't really care. The news did get worse though when after the game, we found out that Bam Adebayo tore a ligament in his thumb. And I didn't expect that because Bam had a terrible first half and then he balled out in the second half and we saw him grabbing his hand the whole time. We knew something was wrong, but he was playing amazing. All of a sudden he couldn't miss. Now it was too little, too late. The game was out of reach, but he couldn't miss. So I figured maybe it was a jam, something he was able to play through. And then we got the news that he'll be out 6 to 8 weeks, which is fine. If that's the worst injury that he have to go through this year, then I'll take it. So Bam will get a couple months off. He'll get to rest his bone bruise that he has, and hopefully he comes back fully recovered and stronger than ever. Moving on to the next game, we actually got a win in Indiana, which is something that I didn't expect, not just because Jimmy and Bam were out, but also because we never win in Indiana. So the fact that we actually won that game was really, really cool. You saw everything that you could have wanted to see from the Heat. You saw Lowry absolutely balling out. I think he shot like 6 of 13 from 3. Obviously, his shooting's been off. So to see him go out and step up at a time when we really need it, just thank God he did that. We saw Duncan Robinson go off. And you know what, Heat Nation? You're welcome. After I dropped that video about Duncan Robinson, he went out and dropped 24 points. I guarantee you he was listening to my song, Call Like Duncan Robinson, the pregame. That's why he got all hype. That's why he went out there and he shot 4-7 from 3 and had like 4 2-point attempts that went in. And the thing about Duncan that game is we saw him go out there and it looked like he didn't care about anything. He was so relaxed. He was just shooting the ball, doing his thing. He was so much less stressed. And because of that, I think he wasn't overthinking and he played really, really well. So hopefully he can kind of keep that mentality up going forward. But outside of Lowry balling out, outside of Duncan balling out, we got some UD minutes. You always love to see that. My boy Big Yurt was getting minutes. That boy balled that as well. We didn't get any KZ minutes, which was probably the best thing about that game. So is it a coincidence KZ didn't play and we won? I think not. Actually, I think it is because KZ didn't play against Milwaukee and we got killed that game. Well, technically KZ did play, but it was garbage time, so that's not on KZ. But yeah, I'm recording this video about 30 minutes after that Milwaukee game ended. And it did go kind of how I expected, just without Jimmy and Bam. For the first few minutes of the game, we only had 6 points. And they were both off deadman 3-pointers. If I wasn't watching the game and you gave me a million guesses to guess how the Heat scored 6 points, I still probably wouldn't have guessed 2 deadman 3-pointers. But the mechanic was balling. He was really the only one that showed up in that first quarter, but it didn't matter. They were still down double digits by the end of it. Sometime in the second quarter, I saw Javonte Smart check in. If y'all don't know who Javonte Smart is, he played on our summer league team earlier this year, and then he was on the Sioux Falls Skyforce before Milwaukee just picked him up recently. I talked a lot of crap about him in summer league. He was supposed to be like this elite go-to scorer, and he kind of was trash in summer league. I mean, he wasn't trash. I just didn't see the hype that all he got. I didn't really understand it. And then I forgot Milwaukee picked him up. So when I saw him check into the game, I was just praying that he would not go off. I figured, knowing my luck, he would go off, but he didn't really do nothing. So he's still the same guy that I thought he was, at least for now. Also, I hate Bobby Portis. I'd ask you to comment if you agree with me, but I already know you do. Unless he plays for your team, I don't see how you can like Bobby Portis, especially since he always seems to kill the Heat. Actually, on this Wednesday's episode of Wednesdays with Will, we're doing a list of the top 10 random scrub Miami Heat killers. Make sure y'all sub so you don't miss it. But spoiler alert, Bobby Portis is not on that list, but he definitely should have been. I completely forgot about him, and just watching him tonight refreshed my memory. I mean, he's a capable shooter, but against us, I feel like he turns into the God-gifted child of Peja Stojakovic and Ray Allen. They called a flagrant foul on Tyler Hero when he was trying to block a Bobby Portis fast break. That made no sense to me. Even E. Reed and Crotty were shocked because Tyler didn't hit him in the face. He didn't hit him anywhere near the face. He didn't even go up high. He just kind of went up to block it, and there was a lot of body contact, and they both pushed off each other. For that reason, Portis fell hard. How was that a flagrant on Tyler? That made no sense to me. I also didn't like in the fourth quarter, they called double technicals on Gabe Vincent and Thanasis when all Gabe Vincent did was try to get up. You know, Gabe Vincent got tripped. There was a tripping foul called on the Milwaukee Bucks, so play was dead. Gabe Vincent's trying to get up, and 3 seconds later, Thanasis comes over, stands over him, and won't let Gabe Vincent get up. So then Gabe Vincent basically pushes him out of the way. He kicks him out of the way, and they both got double technicals for that. What else is Gabe Vincent supposed to do? He's literally being stopped from getting up. Like, it just made no sense to me. Also, I'm just trying to find things to complain about other than the Heat just not being able to shoot, because that's nothing new. I could honestly complain about that for every single game. I mean, I think Duncan ended up being all right. Let's see what he ended up shooting today. I know Max Strus balled out in the fourth quarter, so that was nice to see. Strus finished with 25 points. Wow, on 6 of 9 from 3. And Duncan finished with 11 points on 3 of 7 from 3. So that's fine. It's 43%. Definitely not mad at Duncan at all. Tyler's the one with the rough game. Tyler finished 4 of 17, 1 of 6 from 3. That's obviously not very good to see. I think most of Heat Nation believes Tyler Hero can turn into a star one day, so these would be the moments where you'd really like to see him do it. But I still love Tyler Hero. He just had another rough game. But that's pretty much all I have to say about the games this week. We play the Memphis Grizzlies on Monday. Hopefully they don't beat us by 74. But speaking of that, how awesome was that night for Heat Nation, man? I was actually in my room. I was editing a video, and then I get a text saying the Grizzlies just won by 74. And I stopped everything I was doing. Got my phone, opened up NBA Game Time, saw the score, went to the calculator app, did the subtraction, and I saw the number 74. I fell out of bed. I got up. I started screaming. I scared my girlfriend. She thought I had hurt myself. And I just said, it finally happened. It finally happened. The Miami Heat, no longer in the record books for the worst record you could ever have in NBA history. I'm pretty sure y'all know, but it was about 30 years ago. The Heat lost to the Cavaliers by 68 and had the record for the worst loss in NBA history. Not gonna lie, I didn't think that record would ever get broken. There was one game last year where either the Hornets were getting blown out by the Mavericks or something like that, and it was like in the high 50s late in the fourth quarter, and I said if it's ever gonna happen, it'd be that game. But I guess not. The Grizzlies took care of business. So shout out to them. Miami Heat is no longer in the record books for the worst loss. But yeah, we got the Grizzlies on Monday, Milwaukee again on Wednesday. That's going to be scary. And then the Bulls game on Friday. I'm actually going to be at that game. I'm thinking about if I want to vlog or not. I've never vlogged before, but I've had some comments saying that I should try to start vlogging. So if y'all think I should, let me know in the comments below. But yeah, I just hope Jimmy comes back, man. If not, it's going to be a tough week, and my views are going to, my views are gonna go down if Jimmy don't come back, because I know if we start losing 3, 4, 5 in a row, ain't nobody watching this. Damn, I might not even watch it, you know. But that's really all, y'all. If you enjoyed the video, don't give it a thumbs up. You know why? Donate your thumbs to Bam Adebayo, man. He needs it more than I do. But do subscribe, because at the time of this recording, I'm so close to 700 subscribers, and y'all know I'm trying to get to that first goal of 1,000 so I could apply to the partnership program. So check if you subbed. If you're not subbed, make sure you do it for me. Help your boy out real quick. Other than that, I have the link to the official Miami Heat Discord at the top of the description. They have the best Heat community on the internet outside of this channel. But I hope y'all enjoyed, because if the Heat keep getting blown out, you may never see me again. Who knows? You'll find out next week, or you won't. I'll see y'all later. Bye.
Bigger state, 80s lamb. ISO tank with the pain again. I escape from these famous lands. When it's too much and the wheel done jam. Damn, what if I know? Financially free be my idol. Probably get it then I lie low. Shook ones wish that I die slow. Hold up, won't let it fade me. Got an impact with elevation. When a nigga make it leave a foundation. Hand out keys, high education. Yeah.